Hello, hello, Mystic GLoLady here. It has been too long since I have done any divination readings. It's been a year and a half that I have taken a hiatus in order to finish my civil rights lawsuit that's now in the Supreme Court, and I've also started going back and seeking higher education. So I've been up to a whole lot of things, and I hope that you have been creating as well. My Patreon GLoLady site is up and almost ready to run. I have my inspirational wallet size photos for download, and also my healthy hippie hemp oil blends and other essential oil blends, as well as tools of the trade. There's lots of different support levels, so I hope to see you on my site, GLoLady, on Patreon. I'll put a link below. And now, on to your readings. Woohoo, Aries! This is your divinatory reading for June 2017. As we start out the month, in your first house, you have Venus that's sitting there at 24 degrees. So that is basically the only thing that you have that is pounding on you, although you do have Capricorn sitting square to you. And you also have the Sun and Venus and Mars sitting square, and Jupiter in opposition. But you have Venus sitting on top of you. So that means the sun is shining down on you. Okay? As we move on to the 7th of the month, Venus moves into Taurus, into your finances and possessions. The love. Venus is at home. Oh, are we loving it or what? And Venus continues the whole month in June, and it ends up at 24 degrees. Okay, so you have Venus loving your possessions and your finances. All right, so things are going to be looking up for finances in June. And you have Mercury that's starting out there at 19 degrees. So 19 degrees right in the middle of let's talk communication, and not just talk communication, but inspirational communication with Uranus that is in your finances also. So what kinds of new thoughts and ideas can you make for new creations? You know, how can you create more money? And create is a big word in there, okay? Lots of love that's going on. Just remember, wealth is not monetary, okay? I'm not saying that wealth is the ultimate goal, but, and there again, wealth, possessions, same as, it's, who can you shed some light upon? Who can you give that needs? And the feeling that you get out of doing something of such is a feeling that money really cannot buy. Um, Definitely trust me on that one. Now, as Mercury transits, it's going into your third house on the 7th. Okay, it's going into Gemini, and we're going to talk. Gemini likes to talk. Mercury likes to talk. What are we going to be communicating? What kind of new ideas are we going to be communicating that we were just thinking about, at the beginning of the month? The first week, what kinds of new inspirational ideas did you have? The 7th, you have to remember that Uranus is right there, and that's pretty much going to be, well, even before the 7th, I'd say about the 5th, that Uranus is going to be conjunct Mercury. So those inspirational ideas, what can you carry forward into communicating short distance travels into the third house? Are you going to be taking some short trips? Are you going to be planning some short trips from the 7th on? You have a new moon that is there on the 23rd. What kind of new beginnings are you going to be creating on the 23rd? What kind of new emotions are going to be started after the 23rd, around the 23rd? The sun, it starts out at 10 degrees, and 10 degrees shining down in your third house. So what kind of new communications? There's some really good things that are going to be happening in June. And you have Mars there at the beginning of the month. What kind of new work are you communicating? Is there a new beginning that you want to make? The Mars will move into your fifth house on, or yeah, the fourth house, I'm sorry, on the 5th. You're moving into the 4th on the 5th, not the 5th on the 4th. Okay? Did you follow that one? Mars going into your 4th house on June the 5th. So are you going to be communicating about moving? Is there a new trip that is planned? Is there a new move that is planned? It looks good for things of such. And Mercury's flying on through there. It comes into the 4th house on the 22nd, and it ends up at 18 degrees at the end of the month. It's moving. Remember, we started out in your 2nd house, and it's flying through the 3rd house and comes into the 4th house. So it's on the 22nd, it's flying on through there. So new communications with your finances, finding a new place to move. Those are very good possibilities. Or even just making plans. So the sun will be switching signs into Cancer on the 22nd. Now we're going into your home. The sun's going to be shining on your home. What is it about your home? Are you planning a new home? These could be, are you working? If you're not planning on moving, you are doing fixer-uppers. Now is a great time to do fixer-uppers. You have the energy with Mars in there, at the beginning of the month, well, after the 5th, but it's still, that energy is still pushing in there. What kind of new things? And you have Leo in the 5th house, and Leo, fun, creativity, sex, children, let's go rock and roll. And nothing's really pressing down upon it. So what kind of new things can you do? What kind of new things can you have fun? Is that part of your job? You're creating different things that you can have fun on the job. That's a concept that hopefully more people would implement into their life. A job is just a job unless you enjoy it. It's work. You want to find something that you really like to do. You have Virgo in your 6th house of work, service, and health. All right. You have to be happy doing the work that you're doing, otherwise it will affect your health. Now, we have Jupiter retrograde in the 7th house, your 7th house of relationships, partnerships. Jupiter goes direct on the 10th. Ooh, what kind of new blessings is coming in there regarding your relationships? You've been going back over your relationships for quite a while now. Now that Jupiter is going to be going direct, it's going to be blessing them. The end of the month, remember, Mercury's coming up there, 18 degrees. It's going to be bypassing Jupiter. So what kind of communications do you need in order to improve your relationships, partnerships with people in general? Then we have in the 8th house, other people's money, death, inheritance, taxes. You have Scorpio. Being quiet when you have when you're dealing with other people's money. You're not one to really go out and flaunt it. In the 9th house, we have that full moon on the 9th in Sagittarius. long distance travel, higher learning. Saturn is there retrograde. Are you going back and relearning? What are you going back and relearning? What are you going back to and learning in history? Have you been studying your family history? Has that made an impact on your life now that you finally understand your family dynamics and why you have picked up certain tendencies of those in your family? And especially remember that threefold. I'm one of those that talk about that threefold with that finger pointed out. And that's what I mean when I talk about threefold. When you put your finger out in judgment, you have three fingers that are folded back to you. All right. Have you learned that lesson of what you are putting out, you get back? So are judgments with. Remember, what you're putting out, you're getting back. Learn that if you judge, you will be judged. So it's best to look into why people are the way they are. Their past has a lot to do with it. The history repeats itself. And when we identify, when we have a judgment on someone, the tendency to learn those judgments comes back. And sometimes it will slap us in the face, especially when we recognize it. It's like, whoa, whoa. Now, with Capricorn, in your 10th house, the grounded career, what is it that you're doing in your career? Because Pluto is retrograde. It's at 19 degrees, it's going back into 18 degrees. And what is Pluto transforming in your career? Now, let's go back to when we started out, and I'm talking about new ideas, new inspirational. So if you're not in a career that you like, now is the time to start expressing and doing. We can express all we want, but until we apply action, all it is words, and words are weightless. They carry the weight of a feather. They blow on air, and sometimes it's hot air when people communicate. So your career, if you're around people who are blowing a lot of hot air and your career seems to be going backwards, it does not seem to be going forward. Put your ideas out there. If where you're working they do not go with your ideas, then that is a sign. That is a sign to say it's time to move on. I need to go where I enjoy my work, where people enjoy me, because if I do not, it's going to affect me. It's going to affect my health. Okay? In your 11th house, you have Aquarius. Aquarius is your hopes, your wishes, your friends and associates. And right now you're pretty much loving everybody. Well, you always love everybody. Let's take that back. You always love everybody. But not everybody is always going to love you, and that's just, fact is. Okay? So if you're always trying to do something to make somebody love you or even like you, it's wasted energy. Just be yourself. If they like you, they like you. If they don't, they don't. And that means that there's probably a planet that's squaring you somewhere in around in there. Okay? So what is it? No worries. Be good to you. Okay? Think of those dreams. Especially we have Uranus right there squaring you. It's like, let me see. Let me see. What are my dreams? In your 12th house, Neptune is in there, as well as Chiron, the wounded healer. And the 12th house in Pisces is your secrets, institutions, jails, hidden enemies. Neptune is going retrograde on the 16th. Illusions, delusions. I mean, Neptune might be at home there in Pisces, but it's still illusions, delusions, and you have to remember that mental instability could become a problem also. So, since we're only as sick as our secrets, and Chiron is in there, our wounded healer, what wounds do you need healed? what are the scars that have been festering because that illness, that dis-ease within those secrets. Okay, we have our skeleton closet in there, and what secrets have you been keeping in there that need to be revealed, whether it is just on a piece of paper, that you write it down, that you write it down, that you get it out. Okay, I don't have to ask how or why. I accept that this is my astrological chart playing out. You know, it is what it is. And I have to get over it. I have to get over it in order to heal. What is it that you need to heal? Because we have Mars starting out at 27, we have Chiron in 28. So the beginning of the month, okay, Mars is going to be going in there. And if you feel that you just have to get it out, trust me, it's going to feel a whole lot better once you finally get it out. Okay, because we are only as sick as our secrets. So I hope that you like this new format, and you will check out my Patreon for my additional tarot readings. I hope that you will become a fan and check out the additional that I add to this and give more insight. Since these are general readings, not everyone will relate, so as you will hear the other astrologers say, check out your rising, your sun, and your moon. And if one resonates more, then yeah, you get a well balanced when you listen to all three. So, blessed be. See you, love you, bye.